Ladies and gentlemen, you are now under a groove. We welcome you to this mind space in East Detroit where we appreciate life's intangible gift of music. Music is awesome in the most literal of meanings. An almost otherworldly sensation in our mind, body, and spirit. It moves us in ways nothing else can. Detroit specifically has bred some of the most genre-defining artists that have influenced music around the world. So here we are, after decades of legends, revolutions, scenes, and movements. We are left to ponder and analyze. What is it about Detroit? What is it about music? I'm Gabe Banis, creator of this podcast and founder of this studio. I'm here today with Chris Oliver, multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, and all-around magnanimous master of music. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing good after that wonderful intro.
That's good to hear. Let me just adjust your
me.
mic a little bit.
Yes.
Sorry we didn't do this a second ago.
You're all good. Perfect.
Alrighty. So you are a solo artist. You're a member of the band Velos, Goodfoot, Cody Stage Fright, the Solar System, collaborations with Zachary Biggs. Is there anything else in the vault that I'm forgetting or I don't know about?
Oh, there's many bands, but those are the current ones.
Right on.
We can stop right there.
So right away, I'd love to hear about your relationship with Zachary Biggs because it seems like an interesting story.
Well, back in 2004, I met Zach through a John Frusciante forum or message board, and we got to talking. We both found out that we make 4-track music, and one of us, I don't remember who, but one of us sent a tape to each other, and it was the beginning of a 20-year friendship and a musical collaboration, and we are now working on our 20th album in our 20th year together. He lives in Austin, Texas. I'm here in Michigan. And our first record came out in 2005 called Dust and Guitars, and we've just been doing it ever since. We've met in person twice. He came here, which was a disaster. And then I went to Austin. I took a Greyhound bus for like 27 hours, landed in Waco, Texas. That was scary. And I recorded a record with his then band called School Police playing drums. So we tracked a 25-song record in the guitar player's house over a weekend. I played 2 shows, and then I went home. And that was the last. And we also made a record together called Same Time, Same Place. That was in 2007, the summer of 2007.
So the majority of the work you've done together is just
it's been apart,
passing tracks back and forth, internet.
In the early days, it was literally trading our cassette tapes via the Postal Service. A little after the Postal Service, the band, and then now it's all just digital.
Which is how they got their name, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, yep. But they were doing CDs.
We
were old school, man. Cassettes.
Yeah.
Maxwell forever. Maxell. I mean.
Right on. How about the collaboration with Joe Jack Tolkien from the Dead Milkmen?
Oh, that's a cool one.
How did that come about?
Crazily enough, I just asked. But his band, the Dead Milkmen, they played the Hamtramck Labor Day Fest, and I befriended Joe on Instagram a couple months prior to the show. I've been a fan since I was a kid. Obviously, I knew Punk Rock Girl and Bitch and Camaro and all those songs when I was a little punk rocker kid. And I missed my chance to see them in the 90s because I was only 12 and they couldn't sneak me into the venue. So this was the first time they'd been back since 93 or 4, whatever year that show was. And went to the show. I had a broken foot, so I was hobbling around down there. And we just kept talking on the internet. And one day I was in my basement. One of his songs came on called Lovers Attack the World. And I was like, man, I want to play drums to this. So I just put the track in the GarageBand, recorded drums, backing vocals, did some keyboard stuff. And it was like, here, I just added things to your already existing song. Let me know what you think. And a couple hours later, he was like, that's great. Would you like to do more of those? And I was like, sure. So about 2 months later, we had a record that we now call Basement Blenders, reimagination songs from Joe Jack Talcum. And we wrote 2 original songs. And then in the midst of this, I asked him to come to Detroit and play a show. I booked a show in May at Smalls of May of last year. And to my surprise, he said yes, and stayed at my house. I formed a backing band. It's now a band that I play in currently called The Blenders. That's another new band amongst the many that I'm in. And just we've continued our friendship to this day. The Basement Blenders record is going to come out on our buddy Jarrett Coral's label, Jet Plastic Records, a Detroit label out here, who's actually put out the Velo single. And don't have the exact release date for that yet, but I do have some news that I got this morning actually from Joe. He sent me a message, and Joe he's a peculiar guy. He's pretty funny. He's like, would you care if somebody did an animated video to one of our songs? You know, what am I going to be like? No way. Don't do that. Don't make a video for us. No way. So as of this morning, we're going to have a video for one of the songs called Once in Future, and that song is on the vinyl edition of the record. The vinyl edition will contain 2 more originals that we wrote after we initially wrote the first record, and then remixes of 2 of the reimagined tracks. So it's like almost like a completely different record. The original release was 10 songs on Bandcamp, and there's an even more adjacent version that's on the streaming services. We had to cut a few songs because of licensing things, because these songs are on various other releases of Joe's, so to not get in trouble with the other labels that had put out these originals, we just had to truncate the track listing. But now we're going to have this 12-song record, different color variations, all that fun stuff. I wish I could give you a release date, but it's very soon. I know that much.
Great. So you release everything you do on Bandcamp.
Yeah, Bandcamp, and then it's also most of the stuff is available on the streaming services. Like, not everything is. Like, I don't have the Solar System stuff up just yet, but it's
I was wondering if there was like a reason why.
No, it's just haven't done it yet, and monetary reasons too. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
Right on.
But everything is available via Bandcamp. All the projects that have recordings they have their own Bandcamp pages. So
nice. Any other notable collaborations?
Not really.
Other than
just friends, you know.
Yeah.
People in the scene that we probably both know, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Sure. Speaking of that, I think we really got to know each other when you recorded with Cotton Lily.
Mm-hmm. That's
at
correct,
my first ever apartment.
Yes.
And you were on a drum set.
Yep.
And I said, drums in an apartment?
Why not?
Let's try it out, see if anyone complains.
Well, if of all the bands to have a drummer in an apartment, Cotton Lily would be the band to do it.
That's fair.
Yeah, because we weren't too loud. Even though we technically recorded like our loudest song in your place, that middle section, I went nuts, you know.
Yeah.
So
I remember, oh man, you just had this memory come back where you were like, you had me, because I engineered the session, and I think we all mixed it that day together.
Yes. Yep.
And you had me just like during this drum tom bridge, just like slowly creep in distortion.
Yes, yeah. That came out great too, man. That sounds really cool. I heard it actually not too long ago for the first time, probably since we did that. And I was like, wow, this actually still kind of holds up for what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hey, man.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, it was a good time.
It was fun.
Good experience for me, and good story to tell too.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to. I don't think I have a copy of it anymore, unfortunately.
I do somewhere. I know that Janet and Laura do.
Okay, copy.
And I still talk to them.
Nice.
They're still active in the scene too.
Yeah, I've seen. I should have them both on.
You should get the Antibodies in here. That's Laura's new band.
Okay.
That she just joined.
Nice.
The singer of that band, her name's Jenny Lees. She is actually the wife of the guitar player Jimmy in Velos.
Oh, okay.
So there's all this weird interconnection going on with all these bands and scenes and stuff.
Right.
So that just seems to be the way that Detroit's always been, though. It's very much like that. It hasn't changed, which is a good thing.
Interesting. Yeah, we're definitely going to get more into that, too.
Cool.
So I don't know if you remember, my first memory of you is K-Kosa. You would run open mic night.
Yep.
I was very young.
As was I.
Yeah. But I remember going there, and I remember seeing the guy with the mutton chops who
still has them.
Who was running it, and it was a good vibe for sure. Were you the creator of that?
No, I don't know who actually started it, but I took over for Lee Weiskirk, who is another guy in the scene that we've all kind of. I don't know if you ever met Lee, maybe, but
Doesn't ring a bell.
I know all everybody in Cottonwood know them. They know him. He's a musician, and he's still out there active. But he was the initial host that I took over from, and then I did it until John Forlini said no more open mic at K-Costa, no more.
Are they still? They're not there anymore. Are they?
They're not in the same location. They are, I believe.
Because they were in Mount Clemens.
Yes, they were in Mount Clemens. They're in downtown Mount Clemens, which is now, I think it's now a salon or something. Because it was a candy shop. Now it's a salon. From what I know, I could be wrong, but I believe they're in Harrison Township off Crocker now. It's a little small. They don't do open mic anymore. Nothing like that. It's much smaller than the old location too.
Gotcha. So you seem to pave your own path in the industry. You're a bit unconventional. In fact, one of the things I remember from you at K-Costa is like when you would play a song, it's like this guy holds his guitar.
Oh yeah,
on his lap. Like, thanks. Kind of unconventional. I've never seen anything like it before. Actually,
if anybody's ever seen the movie Roadhouse, there's a guy named Jeff Healy who does that. He's a blind guitar player.
Okay,
and I'd get compared to him a lot, and I did it just because I cannot play guitar normally. I just cannot. I've tried left-handed guitars, which is weird because I'm a right-handed drummer, which is my primary instrument. And then when I picked up a guitar in my early teens, I tried to play it, made a bunch of noise. I laid it on my lap, played it how you've seen me play it. I was playing Smoke on the Water in like 2 minutes, and that's just the way it's been. I play bass like that too. Keyboards like that too. It almost looks like I'm playing keyboard when I play guitar.
Yeah, for sure.
Which people have told me too. You look like you're playing piano
or dulcimer. Or something.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Different than anything I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
Does it help you to kind of like? Do you think it helps you to think outside the box, maybe find new uncharted territory on the fretboard? Yes,
in that regard, I do. But then I kind of still feel a little weird about playing it like that in public. I feel like I don't know. It seems it's still kind of embarrassing, even though I've been doing it for 20 plus years now.
I mean, as soon as you sat down today, you started ripping some licks, and that was what my immediate thought was. Just like, man, he can really play with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about influences, just
Sure.
general influences to start, because we're going to go into more Detroit influences in a minute here. But
I'll leave them out then.
So can I tell you what I hear? And
Sure,
some of these things I already know. But
go for it. Yeah.
What I think of, like, 'cause I was listening to a lot of your tracks last night. And John Frusciante,
Of course.
Syd Barrett,
Of course.
psychedelia.
Yep.
Those are the three things that come to mind. Yeah.
But it's a little dashes of prog in there too, because I
nice.
love prog rock too. So,
Nice.
but it's hard to be a one-man prog band. So, if I can sneak in an odd time change or something, or a weird riff, that's like there's my King Crimson moment or something. So
Very cool.
at least that's
man.
how I see it.
Right on. I mean, I'm into all those things. Too.
Well, I know you are. That's why we get along.
Right. What else though? What isn't as noticeable right away?
Well, I mean, probably like everybody in the world, it seems like the Beatles were were like one of the first. I grew up with my parents. My dad's a drummer. I come from a long line of drummers on my father's side, and there's musical people on my mother's side too, but not as much as my father's side. But I grew up going through their record collection, so it was the Beatles, the Kinks, the Rolling Stones. I mean, think of any classic rock channel, and I had all their records via my parents. And then I was I've always been attracted to. I'll just use the Beatles as an example. As like a little kid going through records, let's say I stumble upon Strawberry Fields Forever. What is that weird backwards symbol thing? I didn't know what that was then, but I was always attracted to the weirder elements in songs. So when you say psychedelia, that's where I get it from. All the crazy like 60s production styles and techniques. I love all that stuff, and I still do it to this day. I'm a sucker for backwards anything. Not just guitar, like any instrument is great to me backwards. I mean, I've always toyed with making an album of just backwards music, just everything backwards. I'll do it one of these days. But then to fast forward to get into the more crazy stuff, my stepbrother, who I just consider my brother, his name's Gary. He's also the one that I started playing his guitar, because when he was off partying, I was in his room playing his guitar I wasn't supposed to touch. He had Freak Out by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. And I was like, what is this? So I put on side B of the tape, which was Help, I'm a Rock. So you know from the title it's going to be something crazy. And that just, I was off to the races after that. I discovered Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band, all the Zappa stuff. I love Frank Zappa. I'm a fan of all of Zappa's stuff, not just the 60s or, I'm a fan of all of it. Then I got into like, through my parents' collection, I was like, what is this in the Court of the Crimson King record? What's that? And then I was like, so I discovered King Crimson, all their stuff, Pink Floyd. Then I later found out about this Syd Barrett guy who was the first singer of Pink Floyd, and I was obsessed with his solo stuff, and it's still very much in my musical DNA. But I mean, I could just go on and on. Yes, King Crimson, Can, even Krautrock stuff. The theme song, George Clinton. I mean, we're talking Detroit here, but funkadelic, funk, R&B, soul. I love all that stuff too. The only two genres that I don't really gel with, at least as of now, maybe one day it'll change, is country and opera. I can do everything else but those two. I don't know what it is, but so I'm pretty open-minded, I would say, to music and to letting things into my musical sphere.
So you are, maybe the most prolific musician I know.
Maybe,
I mean, personally, that I know, yes, absolutely.
Probably,
but
yeah.
then I'm thinking of like, aside, my favorite musician is Omar Rodriguez Lopez.
Oh yeah, he's very prolific too.
Yeah, so like, yeah. I don't think you have quite as many albums as he does.
No, he's got me beat still.
But you have a lot. You might be in second, or maybe David Bowie's in between you.
Bowie has about 50. I've got almost 100. I don't know the exact number.
You can't say that when I'm taking a drink, bro.
But I don't mean, do you want to listen to all those?
Well, I saw one that was like, I think you made in a 2-day period before you had to go back to work. I think it was called like, I don't want to go back to work or something like that.
I've recorded stuff while I had pneumonia, all that kind of stuff. Just nothing will stop me from recording.
Right on. That's a good thing.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of anybody locally. I don't think so. I'm not trying to be like, I'm the shit over here, but I don't think anybody else
it's worth
is
noting.
as prolific as me. I don't think so.
So
I could be wrong.
You must have a speedy process.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that writes songs like me. So I'll explain to you how I come up with a song. Say I usually write on a guitar or a keyboard. Let's say guitar. I'll be noodling around. Oh, I just come up with something. I like it. Hit record real quick. Track it. Even if there's little mistakes, I'll leave it because I'll fix it later. And then I just build from there. But I don't go back to like. I don't track for a couple hours and next session it's all one day. It's all like within a 3 to 6 hour period.
I think I caught on.
And that's what lyrics
session.
too. It's like boom, okay, this needs a bass, this needs drums, this needs this, and then once it's done, it's done. It's like a really manic creative spurt within a couple hours, and that's how I do it all the time. I mean, this last month was one of those big. In February, we're speaking to you now. It's in March 2025. Last month, I've written and recorded 30 songs.
Wow.
Like, that's a big one for me in a month. That's a
more
big
than
one.
there are days in February.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because I had time off work. So usually when that happens, it's like the creative juices just flow. I've got nothing to distract me, nothing that occupies my time.
Does it ever happen where like you come back to a song? And
I've had a couple where it's like, oh god,
a rewrite. Like I rewrite lyrics a lot in my songs.
Maybe not lyrics, even though I probably should, because that's like my weakest point as a songwriter, at least that I think. I tend to do a lot of remixing or like readjusting things, or maybe I didn't hear that flub note there. I'll just punch that in. That kind of stuff is what I usually go back to. Usually it's 90% of what you hear on the record is like that. I wrote that on Tuesday, and that Tuesday was that song. There was no going back to it.
And then you mix it and
send it off to a friend of mine that does all my mastering, because I don't do that stuff. But
nice. Okay, well, switching gears a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to get into some more broad musical questions.
Mm-hmm.
What is your earliest memory of noticing the greatness of music?
Ooh, I don't know how old I was. I'm gonna say honestly, I was maybe 2 years old, very very young, And I can tell you exactly what I did, and I remember everything. When you were a kid, do you remember those books on tape, the big storybooks that had the little tape you'd play inside of the book?
Turn
and
the page on the
turn
beep.
the page.
Beep. Yep.
I said, fuck that tape. I put Led Zeppelin 4 in that thing, and we listened to Led Zeppelin 4. That's literally the first tape I ever remember listening to. Just randomly grabbed it out of my dad's stuff, put it in there. I'm listening to Black Dog or something while I'm reading Elmo Goes to School or whatever. You know, like that's my very first memory of music. My dad tells me that he would play music when, you know, I was in the womb still. So said I would kick. He said he'd play like whatever, classic rock, and sometimes he'd catch me kicking on beat with the song. I was a drummer before I was even out of my mom. You know what I mean? Like, not a classy way to put that, but you get what I'm saying.
So was there a specific moment as you were aging, you know, as a young boy, that you knew music was the thing for you in your life?
Probably that putting that tape in the
wow.
yeah, because like
that was it.
As soon as I could actually get on a drum throne, I was playing drums. So around 3 or 4, when I could actually almost reach the pedals and everything, my dad taught me your basic 4/4 beat. You know, got that. I was off to the races after that. Just going through my parents' record collections and then playing drums every day. I played drums every day from like at least 5 to 15. You know, come home from school, go in the basement, play drums until I got yelled at to get off the drums.
Yeah. Was your dad in a band?
My dad was in a couple bands. My dad was in a country band called Borderline in the 80s that were big locally. They did the hoedown and all that kind of stuff, and they put out a record back in the day, and they had a decent following. So I would watch him play, even though I told you I don't like country music. I was like, why don't you guys play the Rolling Stones? Or I was that little brat kid. I was like, why don't you do this instead? This is awful. I'm like, thinking back now, I was like, what a little dickhead. But like now as an adult, I can really appreciate, like, wow, it was really cool to watch him up there, even though he's playing bars. But like as a kid, you think that is the coolest thing. The lights and people like going nuts and cheering, and my dad's singing and playing drums, which is something I do now too. It's
nice.
It's like a full circle thing. And then like I've got older cousins that play, and to watch them play in their bands and watch like girls go talk to my cousins and like, whoa, that man, you know, music gets you girls connection was in my head, and I was like, okay, I like this. This is cool. This is what I'm gonna do forever, no matter what.
So at what point did you start thinking like, oh, you know, I want to do this like professionally, or what was your first gig?
Oh man, well, my first gig was with my older cousin. I was referring to. His name's Scott. He played in a bunch of bands in the 90s and early 2000s. He was in a band called Big Block, and they were on the verge of getting signed, and something crazy happened, and you know the whole rock and roll story. But they were in the same crew as like Sponge, the Verve Pipe, all that mid 90s rock that kind of blew up here. Mm-hmm. They were in that crew. Anyways, they had a thing actually right by St. John's Hospital over here, not too far from where we're at right now. One of the bandmates had a big house, and they would do a outdoor thing in the backyard, and they called it Schmo Fest. And like Sponge played there that night, my cousin's band, and all the bands that were big in their little crew would play. So I begged my cousin, like, please let me play your song Guardrail. They put out an album, and I learned the song. I'm like, I know the whole song. I can do it. I'm 12 years old. He reluctantly is like, okay, yeah, whatever, and told the band. They were like, oh, this is gonna be great, right? So they pull me up. I do my thing. I start playing. The guitar player and the bass player stop playing, and they're looking at me, and I'm literally going like this, going, play, because there's maybe because I was so young, they were like, they just thought I was gonna be just bash around like a kid on a drum kit doesn't know how to play. Yeah. Like they didn't expect, you know, someone that could really play to play. And it also didn't help that I had a mushroom cut, big, huge Coke bottle glasses. I had a shirt that said "Hooked on Phonics really works for me." I don't know if you remember those commercials back in the day, but like I looked like the total dork kid. Anyways, played the song, people went nuts, and then to go back to the musicians and girls things, I had 3 or 4 of like probably, I'm going to say early 20s women talking to little old me. And then my dad's like, all right, Chris, we got to go home. It's past your bedtime. So like, reality fucking comes back. I'm like, oh man. But that was when I knew I was like, okay, I am going to do this forever. Like I'm going to do this. I want to feel that feeling of playing with musicians again. I want to feel the crowd, the attention, like all of it. I loved it. It was great. I still love it.
Nice, man. That's a good look back to a scene of Detroit music. Actually.
Yeah.
Sponge and Verve Pipe. What was his band?
Oh, Big Block.
Big Block.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, so what does that scene in Detroit music from the past, before that, and now mean to you? How has the city influenced your sound?
It means everything to me. I mean, going through my parents and my uncle. I have an uncle on my father's side too. His name is Dan, who has great musical taste too. And through him, I found Kick Out the Jams by MC5, all the Stooges records, all the early Alice Cooper records, like even like Pretty's For You and Easy Act, like the weird records that nobody talks about. I fucking love those records. And then Funkadelic. I saw that Maggot Brain cover. What the hell is this? Put that song on. Like, whoa, Eddie Hazel's guitar. Whoa. Yeah. And then like Detroit punk, like that's like the Meatmen, all those bands from the 80s, Negative Approach.
Yes.
Yeah, I love all that
Brennan.
stuff. Yeah, John Brennan. He's the man. Like,
dude.
And then I can go on and on and on and on and on. So it means a lot to me. It's in our blood. It's where we're from. The White Stripes. I mean, come on.
Yep. Amen.
Yeah, all that stuff.
So why do you think Detroit has been a birthplace for so many, not just good music, but genre-defining acts? You know what I mean? Like you said, you got MC5 and the Stooges. Like there was no such thing as punk. Now they're considered proto-punk, right? You've got Motown.
Yeah, exactly. Motown. You can't, and like another band you made me think of that we found out through a documentary years later, Death. From here.
Thank you. Yes.
Like motherfuckers, they invented it and nobody knew until like 30 years later. I'm like,
Death is great. Yeah. They're featured on a lot of the Detroiters.
Yeah, like now everybody knows who they are, but like, man, that documentary made me cry, man. I was like, wow, I could totally relate to these dudes. It's insane.
Yeah, there's definitely a raw energy.
Yeah, and they were doing it in 74, 73, like before all that shit. It was before the Ramones and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So what makes the music scene so unique, and how has it shaped your music and career?
Well, I hope this doesn't sound too disparaging to Detroit, but I mean, what else are you gonna do here? Like, no offense, Detroit, I love you. I'm from you. I was born in Detroit. Like, but it's like it's such a. I mean, it's gotten so much better from when we were kids and our parents were kids. I mean, it's a totally different place now. But like, it was just so desolate and so like bleak. It's like you want to just play, and every band that like matters, or that people know about, at least, not matters, that's the wrong word to say, but like they're all hard rocking, no bullshit, 3 chords, 4 chords, and the truth kind of thing, and it's real heavy in your face. It's because we all kind of have that pent up aggression in us. At least I think so. I have that. I don't know about you, but like,
oh yeah. 4 chords and the truth.
Yeah, I mean, like it's fun to get weird and get crazy, but then when you get up there and when you're bashing with your friends up there on a stage and you're playing like, you're punk rock or whatever, there's nothing better than that. It feels great.
Amen.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. Totally.
How about the present scene? Like who do you see that's killing it right now, or who's about to be up and coming? Anyone notable?
Well, not to like name drop all my friends' bands, but like I love the Antibodies. We're talking about punk rock. It's female fronted, and Jenny has this insane scream. It's fucking nuts. And now our friend Laura's in the band, so that's even cooler. I love them. I like Rob Zink and the Collaborators. I don't know if you know who they are. Yep. I've played shows with them with Velos, my band Velos.
Right on, yeah.
Man, oh man, there's like so many, and I'm drawing blanks, which is horrible. Let's go back to that question.
Yeah, of course. No, you can think about it as we go. And in fact, what do you think like is missing in the scene right now? Is there anyone that doesn't exist that you wish did?
I mean, I have to also say that I'm more of a, besides playing shows with my bands and stuff, I tend to be the basement recording hermit like dude, like the R. Stevie Moore or something like that of like our scene. So I don't go out all that much to shows, so I can't say for sure like we need more of this. But I'd like to see more of a psychedelic element in our scene, more tripped out. I mean, there's a few bands that do it, like Cherry Drop is a band that does it, but they're more of like they come more from like a punk thing.
Yeah.
But it's like punk on like bad acid. That's like the best way, like on the brown acid. Don't take the brown acid, you know, like that type of things. But I want to see a band that like is like Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd or like early Mothers of Invention or you know anything, or like bands with more of a krautrock influence, like early Kraftwerk or Can or Neu, like all those great German bands of the 70s, like really hypnotic, spacey stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't personally see that often playing shows. I mean, I'm in Velos is the band that I play the most shows with currently. So, but we are your basic 4 on the floor rock band. So, we're not playing shows with bands like that. So, I can't really say necessarily if there aren't bands of that caliber in the scene. But I personally would like to walk into like the Kaju or something, which is down the road from here, and see some super tripped out band just going for it. You know what I mean? That'd be great for me, at least.
Yeah, I hear that.
I want to turn it on you. What do you think?
What do I think the scene needs?
What do you think? Because you're part of it too, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I would definitely agree about the psychedelia and just keeping rock and roll alive, man. Like, I think that, like, I'm a little concerned about it. In fact, it's a good one great reason why we're doing this right here and now, you know, just like this conversation needs to be continued and passed on to the generations.
I totally agree.
So walk us through your creative process. Like, how do you make music, and is there a difference in the way you do it solo versus in a band?
Well, if I'm in a band, besides the solo system, which was initially just me by myself, I started doing that. I now just put out music under my own name, but back then I was like, I can't put out music under my own name. There was that stigma back. We all had to do, like, everybody I knew that was recording.
Picked a great name, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah. So from 2002 to 2012, it was just me doing everything. So like back when we were initially hanging out, it was everything that you heard then was just me. Then I just got tired of that. I wanted to form a band, formed a 3-piece where I actually played guitar, and then we would just, you know, do what bands do, naturally write songs together. At first, we started just doing old material, and I said, screw that. Let's write together as a real band instead of just rehashing my old one-man band recordings and doing that.
Yeah.
But most of the time in a band, I'm usually the drummer in a band. That's my primary instrument. That's the instrument I still feel I'm the best at, and that's the one I feel the most comfortable with on stage. But so in a band setting like that, I guess I do write some songs, because one of the songs I'm going to play today later when I play some songs is a Velos song, which I sing and played on drums, but it's an older song that I actually wrote from the Solar System days that I brought to the band. So I guess I do kind of write songs with my bandmates or bring older songs to my bandmates, but mainly I'm your typical drummer. I'm there to make you laugh, keep time, and I'll have the occasional arrangement idea. That's about it. And it's just, I like that. I feel most comfortable as a drummer in a band. I just like the role of the drummer in a band, and the old school, just keep the beat, keep the peace, hopefully too. When I'm not with a band, usually like I explain to you like how I write and record songs. It's just in a 3 to 5 hour span of time. Like that's my creative process solo wise. And then like with Zach, let's say he sends me 5 songs in an email or something, right? And I look at myself as like the Brian Eno of our thing. I will do a lot of what he does, like which he calls like sonic treatments, where I'll take his tracks and just put crazy effects over his vocals or his guitar or whatever it may be. And then if I feel like it needs more, I'll add little bits. But if you listen to our stuff, all the weirder elements, the more tripped out elements, that's me. That's like my signature. Like you kind of know, like, oh, if you're wondering like who does what, if it's really strange or odd sounding, it's probably me.
Do you consider yourself technically savvy or more of a
No.
tinkerer?
I still record on GarageBand. I still use $23 crap microphones.
Stock
Like,
plugins, or do you have?
I'm looking. No, I mean I use like
Whatever
I buy
GarageBand.
plugins.
Oh, okay.
But I do stock plugins too. But I would
Can
rather
we talk about like what plugins you use?
just
I like
basic
to get a little technical on
GarageBand-y shit. I can't even remember names of
Okay.
stuff. But like I love their delay designer plugin, and you can do the most insane things ever with like combining. I like to like if I'm using stock ones, I combine multiples together to make a sound that's unlike what each
Sure.
individual will do.
Nice.
So you can't really pinpoint what the hell it even is.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But as I'm looking at these pedals too, Earthquaker Devices, I have some of their pedals at home. Red Panda, who are actually a Detroit company, I have a bunch of their pedals at home that I use.
Nice.
I would still rather feed something through a pedal than go through a plug-in or something.
I'm having a lot of fun putting everything through this
Oh
pedal
yeah,
board. Drums, vocals.
everything.
Oh yeah.
I do. I've been
Oh,
doing
man.
that since the
It's a
4-track days.
blast.
It's the best. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best. You get the craziest sounds ever that way.
Absolutely.
And I'm not picky. I will go from like boutique to the bottom of the barrel. I don't have any preference. I hate
Dan
that.
Electro ham and cheese
Yeah,
pedal.
I mean, one of my first guitar was a damn Dan Electro. So I mean, I love them. So I don't have that
Those
mentality.
guitars are sweet.
Yeah, they are,
Yeah.
and they're fucking crazy expensive and rare now. So I'm glad I've got mine. It's beat up, but I've got mine still.
Good for you.
But I don't have that mentality of like, it's Pro Tools or no tools. Like I don't like fuck that. You use what you have.
I thought it was slow tools.
Well, that too. And if you know what you're doing and you have a good ear, you can record on a boombox and make it sound good. That doesn't matter. It's the ideas that matter, and that's like if you go into like a Steve Hoffman like audio forum, you just want to strangle those fucking people. Like, if you're not using this Neumann U87 on your vocals, it's gonna sound like everything sounds like shit. I'm like, fuck off. I'll use a $20 Radio Shack microphone if I have to.
Yeah.
I just need something to get the idea down.
Yeah. Amen.
I can tweak it. I'm the master of EQ. I can EQ the shit out of anything and make it sound halfway decent.
Right on.
I mean, you've listened to my recordings. It's all stock, mostly stock plugins or pedals through GarageBand, through some crappy microphones, all my gear in like a circle surrounding me in my basement, and there it is.
Nice.
I would love to upgrade if I could afford to,
Right.
like.
Well, I mean, the fact that you
I'm not
do it-
against. I'm not against great gear or amazing like tape machines or any of that stuff. I would love to have that stuff. Are you
Look,
kidding me?
I know more people that have a bunch of gear and don't
Don't
release
use
music.
it. Yeah, or don't even
one
use
of them
it.
sitting across the table from
Oh,
you.
shut the hell up. We're
So-
using your gear right now to do this. What are you talking about?
Finally.
Finally.
Are you a student of music theory?
No, I don't know anything.
Nice.
I can tell you I can tell you an E, A, and like an F on a guitar. Like if you ask me, like, oh, what key are you in? Like my bandmates that have to learn my songs, they learn them through recordings because they know better to don't ask me. Unless it's E and A, I can tell you, oh, it's just E and A. Sure. Oh, F minor right there. Cool. I don't know anything about theory. I took one drum lesson when I was about 10 or 11. The teacher wanted me to do a drum roll. I'm like, I've been playing drums for like 6 years. Can we move past the drum roll? And he's like, no, we got to use I mean, I understand now as an adult what he was trying to do, but as a kid, I was like, I know how to do that. Let's learn how to play Rush songs. Let's do that instead. So I said, screw this. I don't need lessons. I just play by ear. I'd play along to records on drums. Same with guitar. I've got an ear, or I can't play everything that I hear, but most stuff I can sit there and listen to it, and by the second or third go around, I can play along with it.
Nice.
Or at least jam to it, if I can't figure out if it's really crazy.
Do you like to improv?
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
One of the fun things to do is just to solo along with whatever my favorite records are. I've been doing that forever.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Oh, it's a blast.
Have you recorded the tape? I feel like I remember you. Yeah, well, we talked about with Zachary, and then you had like a 4-track.
Yeah, I had a 4-track, and I recorded. When I said I went to Austin in 2007, the band School Police I recorded that record with, they had a Fostech 8-track that we used.
Ooh.
It was a 1-inch.
Yeah, that's
machine.
actually going to sound nicer than mine because mine's a 1/2-inch 16-track. Theirs being 8-track 1-inch.
Yep.
people that know, the thicker the tape and the less track size, you're going to get much more tape saturation and what you're looking for.
Your drums and your bass are going to sound fucking amazing on a tape like that. Yeah. So through them, I've recorded like through tape and stuff like that. But myself, if we're talking about tape, I'm talking about cassette tape. I'm talking about 4-track, Maxell, high bias, 90 minutes, like, one of those.
So of all the, projects you've been a part of, is there one thing that stands out as what you're most proud of? What's the first thing you pass on to someone when they ask you, hey, what have you done?
Well, I guess that depends on the person. If it's someone like you, I would probably, someone that's more open musically, I would probably either give them a solo record or maybe a Chris Oliver, Zachary Biggs record. But if it's just an average, like someone in my, no offense family, if you end up hearing this, but like someone in my family is like, what have you been up to? I'll play them Velos because we're just a straight up rock and roll band, melodic, very much sounds like a 70s power pop kind of thing. And I have yet to play it to someone and we're like, no, this is too weird for me, or I don't get it, or no, I don't like it. So the more average listener, I'll throw Velos at them. But if it's the more experienced or adventurous listener, as I like to say, I'll throw maybe one of my records or a Chris Oliver and Zachary Biggs record.
Welp, all of this talk on music, I'd love to actually hear some.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, man.
All right, this first one's called Saturations, and it's by Velos. And usually, when you see Velos, you'll see me singing and playing drums this song, not playing guitar like the guy from Roadhouse. Anyways, this one's called Saturations. I will not be able to live up to your expectations. You set the bar too high. Now it's time for me to say goodbye. Dreams last for no one. Feelings may come and go, but the light in your eyes doesn't show. I will walk into the light, go to the place where dreams and fears collide. You will watch as I go inside. Saturations of the senses has arrived. I will walk into the light, go to the place where dreams and fears collide. You will watch as I go inside. The saturations of the senses has arrived. You can't have control control of my life. You can't have control of my life. You can't have control of my life. You can't have control. Thank you. Calm down. It's okay. I'll do some more. Want me to just go into another one? Go for it. All right. This next one is a song that's off of a record I made with Joe Jack Talcum of the Dead Milkmen. The album is called Basement Blenders, and the song is called Photograph. And it goes like this. The picture lies, the picture will make me cry. I despise the pictures I have taken. I look at them, my heart starts aching. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. Maybe I'm going insane. I should board an astral plane and travel far and travel wide across the spiritual divide. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. Where will these chemicals take me? Where will these chemicals take me? Where will these chemicals take me? Where will these chemicals take me today? The picture lies, the picture will make me cry. I despise the pictures I've taken. I look at them, my heart starts aching. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. I don't want your photograph, I just want you. I don't want your photograph, I just want you.
Very nice.
Well, thank you. Again, that song was called Photograph, and it's off the album Basement Blenders.
That has it gives me some old school Nirvana vibes.
Oh, thank you. Well, Joe will like that. This next song is a song off of Chris Oliver and Zachary Biggs' album from 2010, I believe was the year, called Long Hot Summer, and the song is called Long Hot Summer. And it goes like this. It's gonna be a long hot summer. It's gonna be a long hot summer. But it's alright, right, yeah. as long as we're free with me. As long as we're free, but it's alright, right, yeah. Sitting in the hot, hot sun, you and me will have so much fun. Sitting in the hot, hot sun, you and me will have so much fun, because it's all right, 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 yeah, and it's all right, right, yeah, yeah. Woo! Hopefully it will be a long, hot summer. Yeah. It's been a long, cold winter. I'm going to do one more song, and this is brand new. Nice. It's not even released yet. It's going to be on my record that will be hopefully coming out around April, or maybe, I would say April. The album's called Roller Rink Thug, and if you follow me on any social media, you've already seen the cover art and the track listing. And this is a song called Exist, and this is the world premiere. It's a short little song. It's still hard to process that you no longer exist. Every day is a risk. But I'm happy to be alive. Not quite sure what will happen next. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for you to show me the answer. And there's that one. That one's called Exist, and it's going to be on my upcoming album called Roller Rink Thug. Thank you very much, and good night.
Very good work, sir. Very good work.
Yay. Thanks, me.
That was fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Seriously, thank you.
Absolutely. Now, just to kind of drive it home for the folks at home about your gear and this and that. So I had to move over a Fender Blues Junior 2 amp to put, I think it was a Line 6 Spider down.
Yeah. Yep. $100, man. That's all I had on me, and I bought it. I still use it.
Dude, I mean, like, as you were playing, I was like, I'm so glad that I didn't, like, say, hey, why don't you use my tube amp or something? Because, like, it's just something about the tone, whatever, you've been doing it for how long, and you're making it work great. And it's just a testament to how it's never the gear.
Just going back to what I was saying before.
And, yep, exactly.
Doesn't matter. The gear doesn't matter. It's the ideas and the person behind it that matters the most.
Yes, sir.
And what they do with it.
Fantastic. Great work again.
Thank you. Thanks, Gabe.
So what's next for you, man? When are we gonna hear? When are you gonna see your name on the marquee?
Oh God, well, hopefully soon. Velos, like I said, we're not as active as we would like to be, or can be really. Our singer lives in Mount Pleasant right now, but we do have an EP that's almost done. So hopefully, early summer, we'll have that out and hopefully play a few more shows. We the three of us, minus Henry, we have a band. There's no name. We've literally just started. So hopefully we'll be playing out in the summer. I'd mentioned forming a backup band for Joe Jack Talcum when he came into town, and that was called The Blenders. And that is now morphed into an actual band of myself, Roger Dutcher, who plays bass, Invelos, and then Jared Coral, who's been around the scene and been in a bunch of bands. He used to play bass in the Hourlies. They're a local band.
Yeah, sure.
And he runs his own label called Jet Plastic Recordings. He's put out the Velos single, and he's putting out the Joe Jack record as well. And we are playing the Corktown Music Festival in April. I don't have the exact date, but it's the 25th to the 27th. It's that last weekend of April. So we're somewhere in there. And then for Chris Oliver and Zachary Biggs, it's our 20th year together making music, and we have just started kind of brainstorming the 20th record, which that will come out at some point this year. And then I have, as of right now, solo wise, I have 3 albums in the works. I was mentioning that creative spurt that I had in February.
Yeah.
Not all of it's usual. Like, that's one thing. I guess I kind of want to derail for just a half a second. A lot of my friends are like, you just put out everything you fart out. I'm like, that's not true. There's so much shit that no one's ever gonna hear. And there was things from February that no one's ever gonna hear. So, but there's two rock records I like to call my style of music like warped rock. Because like how you were saying, you hear Frusciante, Syd Barrett, and then psychedelia. In my mind, I kind of classify that as just warped rock. It's like mainly just like left of center rock music, more atmospheric rock music. But instead of saying it's just psych or it's prog, I just kind of came up with my own little catchphrase for it. So that last song that I played called Exist, that is going to be on the album called Roller Rink Thug, which hopefully will come out in April. It's currently being mastered right now. My buddy is doing some craziness to an old... I put out the raw photo of what the album cover will be, which is me at like Great Skate from like 2004, like flashing a gang sign or doing something stupid. And he totally wants to Great Skateify it like mad. My buddy Joe Paris, you know Joe Paris, I think you do. Taller guy with big sideburns, was always around during the Cotton Lily time.
Oh, you know what? If I saw him, I'd be like, oh yeah.
You know, I know you'd know him. He was like when we do all those basement shows at like either Tony's house or whatever back in the day.
Ryan's basement venue?
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, he'll be on tomorrow.
He was really. So me and Joe were in his basement a lot back in the day. Anyways, he does a lot of my cover art. So he's currently making that, and I have another 10 songs worth of warped rock stuff that's going to come out, and then I have an electronic record that's going to come out after all that. So
exciting.
And who knows what else will come out? I mean, we're only in March of this year, so but that's where I'm at musically right now.
Nice, man. Do you have any advice you'd give to like up and coming young artists or musicians?
Well,
maybe to help them skip a few steps that maybe bogged you down in the process.
Well, for one, don't have delusions of grandeur and think you're going to be a rock star in like 5 minutes, because I'm living proof. I've been doing this for 30 years and I'm still in the local underground scene. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying you have to come at this with love, pure love. If you love music and just love to play and you love to even just listening, like if you have that like mentality, you're going to be successful in what you do. You're going to find the right people. You're going to make stuff that hopefully you and your bandmates or whoever love, and just keep doing it. Don't stop. Don't get discouraged, because everybody in the planet is pretty much putting out music right now. You have to, we're now competing with more than anybody from like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Like everyone can just hit a loop button and then put their song up on SoundCloud and say, I'm a musician. So there's thousands of, I'm not knocking that, because it's so cool that anybody can actually just upload a song and put their record. I'm living proof. I've got 80 plus records out in the world because of the internet, thankfully. But the negative, if for all the, I don't want to say like true artists or musicians, that just sounds pretentious, but like the people, I guess, that are worthy of an audience, you're swimming through a digital sea of just my buddy and I just made a rap song and put it up, and that's it. And you get people's attention spans are like next to nothing now.
Yeah.
You have to figure out a way to be clever with your marketing. You have to do a lot more than I think you had to like 20 or so years ago to get people to pay attention.
Yeah.
I'm still learning myself. I don't possess the answers to any of it myself. I'm still struggling to keep my audience going, build it, all that stuff. And it's just if you love music and it's in your heart, just don't stop. Just don't stop. I guess that's pretty much it. Just keep doing it.
Nice. Yeah.
You too, Gabe. Don't stop. Keep doing it.
I need that. We're yeah, it's like in the past, when loops and like sample packs became so popular, it was like, oh man, we're competing with all these people that are just
we're doomed.
Putting a puzzle together and
Yeah.
releasing it. And now, where I'm going with that is AI.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
dealing with that again. So
Which is there's good,
They know what-
but there's good and there's bad to it. That's the thing. It's the same with, like you were saying with the loops and stuff. There's good, like there's some people that can make some great shit out of just splicing random loops together, putting effects together, and they're really artistically set aside and put together. And there's also people like bring back the Beatles again. Like we have that last Beatles song because of AI. It was they're able to strip all that noise out of that
good
John
point.
Lennon demo.
That's a really good point.
And you can hear his vocals crystal clear, like he's actually still alive. It's crazy, and it was like that was, and people like went nuts about that song. That's the only thing that AI was involved with. Like that was it, just separating the tracks from that original hissy cassette tape that John Lennon made on a boombox in the '70s. It just signaled out the tracks. That's all they did. It wasn't like they took Paul's bass from '72 or whatever. Like it was all them playing the ones that are still alive, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, no, AI is I have a friend. His name's Robert Schneider. Have you ever heard of the band The Appleton Stereo?
Nope.
They're part of this E6 collective. The shirt that I'm wearing, Elephant Six Company, recording company.
Are they local?
No, but he lives in Marquette, so he's kind of he's now, but they're from Athens, Athens, Georgia.
Okay.
Anyways, he is now a math professor up in the UP, but he is a champion.
Michigan Tech.
Yeah, I think yeah.
I mean, there's only so many.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but
there's two up there: Michigan Tech and there's another one.
if you say the other one, I might be like, yeah, it's that one, but I don't know. Anyways,
it'll come to me.
He is a champion of AI. He loves it. He uses it. He's actually made an album of like music concrete and found sounds that he himself like curated via AI. So it's AI making these sounds, but he is also manipulating them and putting them together and rearranging them. So it's like human and AI collaboration. Yeah. And if I wasn't told it was AI, I would just be like, Robert, you made this crazy, insane instrumental album, experimental instrumental album. And I would have thought he did everything himself. I would have no clue. So like it can be used for good, but more so it's just using it for evil and to rip off fucking musicians. Like the thing now is people are taking they're literally taking other people's vocal tracks and like putting it on their own song and be like, I wrote a song with fucking Jay-Z or whatever. It's like, no, you didn't. You stole it off that. And yeah.
All right, fantasy time.
Okay, yes.
If you could collaborate with any Detroit musician of any time, who would it be and why?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. I'd love George Clinton. I'd love to collaborate or have him like produce it because like I love his production, especially in those Funkadelic and those Parliament albums from like 70 to like 80 something. I would love that. If the Ashton brothers were still alive from the Stooges, I'd love to have Ron Ashton play some guitar or have Scott play drums. Iggy, I mean, any of the guys from the MC5. Like I love Dennis Machine Gun Thomas's drumming. Sadly, now they're all dead. I mean, we lost Dennis and Wayne last year, like within months apart.
Yeah.
I guess as much as his name's dropped all the time, I'd love to pick Jack White's brain and see. And I love his like his technical side of things, I think, is brilliant, and like his new pedals that he put out are fucking amazing. They just make sounds that like I've never heard before. It's like, and just that guy's local is pretty amazing. So I mean, I could go on and on and on, but those are the ones that just come directly, right away.
Do you know what Creepy Cheapy is?
Yep.
Yeah, the show at the Crowfoot. It's a Halloween show.
The Blenders, we almost played it as Weezer. Something happened that we didn't do it. But yes, I'm very familiar with that. Yes.
So, what's your dream Creepy Cheapy set? What band?
Well, just because I just said it, and it was a whole lot of fun when we did do it. We did it at the Orchid Theater not too long ago. I forget what the actual event was called, but we played the Blue album by Weezer in its entirety.
Nice.
And that was fucking so much fun. But if I was to play as a Detroit band and do Creepy Cheapy, I would probably do the first Stooges album in its entirety.
Nice.
Even Ann and We Will Fall. I'll do all that shit. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Let's.
What about you? I'm gonna turn it on you.
Let's
I'm gonna ask you. Hell yeah, let's do it. I'm so down.
Yeah, man.
I'm so down
For sure. I mean, that Stooges is great. I would almost go MC5.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Easily on the same vein. Josh, who was in my band, Mariah, and he's in my current band.
Wow, that's a name I've heard in a long time. You guys were cool, man.
Thanks,
I dug
man.
it. I dug it.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
talk about that.
Good times.
Talk about that like proggy psychedelic-y thing. You guys had that for
Hell
sure.
Yeah, buddy. So we were talking about doing Tears for Fears, Josh and I. As the
songs
two
with
main
Big
guys.
Chair or something.
Yeah, or just like pick our favorite songs.
We like
Raoul and the Kings of Spain a lot. And
Oh,
we like
shit,
all the classics, Mad World, and Everybody
That'd be
Wants
great
to
too.
Rule the World, and all the songs that have to do with the world.
Sowing the Seeds of Love. All that. Good stuff.
Great one. Yeah. So let's wrap it up, man.
Okay.
Where can people find your music, links, promos?
Well, Velos, my solo stuff, which is my name, Chris Oliver and Zachary Biggs. You can find all that stuff on Bandcamp, and then everything else is also available on like streaming, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all that stuff. MySpace, is that still a thing? Can you still play songs off MySpace? Go look up. No, I'm just kidding. Just your basic streaming services and Bandcamp. Mostly Bandcamp for everything. Like I have so many like projects that just did like one record and they just stopped. Yeah. They're all on Bandcamp. If you really want to do a deep dive and hear everything, it's all on Bandcamp.
Which you should do. Take a deep dive.
Do it.
Chris Oliver.
Spend like a month of your time just listening to me. It's going to be great. I promise.
If you're ever in prison, I've got something for you.
If you need you need to kill a lot of time, I got you covered.
Thank you so much for coming out, man. Let's do this again
Thank you for having
soon.
me. Yeah, man.
And everybody, don't forget to check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Here's my chance to dance my way.
So do you have any idea when
out of my constriction?